I went there, I spoke to this guy, and he goes, Chris, all right, you've got this thing called von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. Yeah, right? It's a hereditary condition, means maybe your mom and dad have got it. I go, no one's got it. Okay. He goes, look, this thing forms tumors, cysts, sometimes cancerous, in all your major organs. The average life expectancy is 30, so you're probably going to have a short life, and you've probably got cancers now. I don't know what more to tell you, but this is a new condition that we are learning right now of. I wish you all the very best. I choose to focus on life. I'm going to choose life. I'm going to choose to make the most of whatever life I have, but I'm not living like that anymore.
Really clear is there's a reason why your book is called Near-Death Lessons. So let's talk about for a second, from your background point of view, tell us about some of the diagnoses you've had all the way back from your teenage years. I just want people to really get clear that this isn't metaphorical. This isn't being dramatic. Mm-hmm. It's real as far as what you've been through. Well, I think it's very easy for someone, like how often does an artist say, oh my gosh, I'm dying over this, and what they're really doing is catastrophizing, but that's your reality. So if you don't mind, take a second and tell us a little bit of doctorish, but give us the maybe the layman's terms of it. But what have you been diagnosed with? What have you been going through, and what are you surviving?
Sure. So I'll also run through the 8 near-death experiences, because I know a lot of people don't normally survive that many. I'm hoping I'm not a cat. But I'll run them because it's hard to, I mean, every time I speak to some people, they say, I've never come across anyone with more than 4 near-death experiences or something. So to have somebody with 8, it's like, holy, like people don't survive the things that I've gone through. Some of the things I go through is enough to break one person. So you could imagine how strong you got to become eventually. But look, this isn't the person who's speaking right now, called Chris Jankelowski, is somebody that survived unbelievable challenges. But at the beginning, I was too a victim. For 13 years, I lived a broken, disempowered victim person of my circumstances. It took a lot of battles for me to finally turn things around. But anyway, so at the age of 19, we went to a specialist clinic to understand what was causing tumors from the age of 16 in my eyes, because 16-year-olds don't just form tumors in your eye, in their eye. And so the doctor was puzzled and said, why would you be forming tumors in your eye? Normally 70-year-olds and so on. So in the room, there's these older people, and then there's this young 16-year-old kid. And so it took him about 3-4 years to start questioning this and try to understand how we're going to understand this. And there was this new genetic testing going on. So I had the genetic test done. They said, good news, we found the reason why you're getting the tumors. Now you have to see this specialist. So at the age of 19, I drove myself to this place, and I went there, and it was a very different kind of clinic. I remembered, because it wasn't like a typical hospital clinic. It felt like a lawyer's room. But anyway, I went there. I spoke to this guy, and he goes, Chris, all right, you've got this thing called von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. Yeah, right? It's a hereditary condition, means maybe your mom and dad have got it. I go, no one's got it. Okay. He goes, look, this thing forms tumors, cysts, sometimes cancerous, in all your major organs. The average life expectancy is 30, so you're probably going to have a short life, and you've probably got cancers now. I don't know what more to tell you, but this is a new condition that we are learning right now of. I wish you all the very best. Mate, no flyers, no support, nothing. I was like, what? How do you know I'm going to be dead for 30? What do you mean? I've got cancers now? Oh, wait a second. I don't know anyone who's had cancers. And you just gave me this bombshell and you tell me to go? What the? That was my brutal wake-up call. And I went to my car. I cried. I didn't know what to do. And as a 19-year-old, I did what every other 19-year-old would do. When something is that overwhelming, I couldn't relate to anyone with this problem. I told my parents, I told my friends, couldn't connect with anyone about this. I've been told I'm dead 30, none of you are. And I just decided to ignore it. I thought, if I pretend that deep down, if I never got this, perhaps it would disappear. So that's what I did. So I ignored it from the ages of 19 to 32, when a first brain tumor finally caught up. And when that brain tumor got almost killed me, it was so big, 5 centimeter. I mean, I had to contour my body to go to the toilet, and I had these weird electrical shocks running down my spine. When that operation happened, when I got the diagnosis, I looked at the sky and I just said, that was the time that I transformed. I looked at the sky and I said, God, kill me. I've had enough of living this victim life. I've had enough of being disempowered, always reacting to my circumstances. Fuck this. Excuse my French, because I know this ain't, published. You're going to write it, right?
No worries.
Yeah, and I said, like, mate, I choose to focus on life. I choose whatever happens. I know I'm going to get out of this operation. I know I've been told I might have symptoms. I might be on a wheelchair. I might not be able to walk properly. I might not be able to move my hands. Whatever. I'm going to choose life. I'm going to choose to make the most of whatever life I have, but I'm not living like that anymore. Mate, I draw the line right there. So that was a pivotal moment. So my 8 near-death experiences start from the age of 7 and have ended at 44. I'm now 50, so I've had a good run for the last 6 years. Okay. 7 years, at age 7, not related to this hereditary condition, an appendix burst in my, almost killing me. 2 weeks in hospital at the age of 7. At the age of 21, I almost drowned. I inhaled water. I was caught in a rip, and I went, I've had my life flash before me, the whole thing from 21 all the way down to newborn, and all important moments and relationships flashed before me. It was a very peaceful, surreal state. But that's not where my first transition of the typical, that was a typical near-death experiences. But one of the first times I crossed over out of body kind of experience and a different time dimension that I felt was a few years later, 25, when I woke up in an eye surgery of all things. In a surgery, I felt the needles sliding on my eye like on an egg and then poking in. It was, I heard the radio and the music and everything going on. And they must have overdosed me or something, because when I woke up, they just how many more? Get any more. And then when I woke up and I flatlined. I didn't know why I flatlined. I was looking down slightly. I could see the buzzer was on my hand. I could see the machine flatlining until everything went white. And then I felt like I was in a different time dimension. I just felt like, whoa, where am I? Like, let's go. Hey, I'm not going anywhere. It's my sister's wedding soon. And then I snapped back into life again with the nurses all about to zap me. So that was at 25. And then at 32 is the one that I just mentioned with the brain tumor. And then 2 months later was the removing of my right kidney, because it was occupied by cancers, large, some as large as 4.5, 5 centimeters, which is way too dangerous. They're all very aggressive. Right kidney removed. The reason why I call that a near-death experience as well is because, I survived cancer battle. And it didn't spread. It killed my dad. But it didn't kill me. And then 2 years later, I had to remove 4 large cancers from my remaining left kidney. Survived that. Didn't spread. Didn't go any worse. Continued living my life. For a decade later, then another 6 kidneys were removed. 6 cancerous kidneys were mentioned. But obviously before that one was the second brain operation to remove 2 tumors in the head. And that was the most serious of them all.
Chris Jankowski's book, Near Death Lessons, is on Amazon now. What I love is we scroll down, there's 5-star reviews, there's dozens of them. We look at the customer reviews, we see the book reviews, how many people have been inspired by this book, have changed their life by this book. And as we hear Chris talk, Chris, we hear the passion and the excitement and the inspiration in your voice. So your new book, Near Death Lessons, if we want more from you, where do we find you? What's your website? Where do we find you on social media? Where can we get more, Chris?
Sure. So I'm building chrisjankowski.com. I never thought I'll ever use my surname, but because all these media attention and everything is coming to my personal name. So you can go to chrisjankowski.com ideally, and then you'll be able to access other things.